The Central Bank of Eswatini Board of Directors, Management and Staff congratulate His Majesty King Mswati III for the successful conclusion of Sibaya and the appointment of His Excellency Mr. Russell Miso Dlamini as the Honorable Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini. May the God of all wisdom grant the Prime Minister all the strength and grace he needs to execute this assignment with excellence. Bayethe wena waphakathi.
It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. I'm Sanapo Ngoan. I'm with Zamanza Manza. We're coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Babane. And for your top stories at 8, let's dive straight into it and take a look. Cabinet ministers have been sworn into office. Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini has thanked His Majesty King Mswati III for appointing a Prime Minister whom she says is energetic and a cabinet that is equal to the task at hand. And Deputy Prime Minister Thuli Dladla says gender-based violence is one of the key issues she is looking to face head-on as she begins her 5-year term. Hello again, and now for the news in detail. Cabinet ministers have been sworn into office. This exercise was administered by Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo in Mbabane on Tuesday. Only one minister was not present during the event as she was reported to be out of the country.
On Tuesday morning, cabinet ministers were sworn in at cabinet offices. One by one, they stood next to Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo, who was administering the oath.
Mine Thulisile Dladla. Ngiyafunga. Ngithi ngitawethembeka. Ngemoya wami wonke. Kuthi ngitayisebentela. Ngeliqiniso. Nangekwethembeka. Inkosi Mswati wesithathu. Nalabo ababusa emva kwayo. Kulesikhundla sekuba liphini landvunankulu. Inkosi ngiside.
Mine Polile Shakantu.
Ngiyafunga. Ngithi ngitawethembeka.
I, Neil Rakenberg,
Do swear
that
I will well and truly serve the King Mswati III.
I will well and truly serve King Mswati III.
Mine sitsinzi sembutho simelane.
Ngiyafunga. Ngithi ngitawethembeka. Ngemoya wami wonke.
Most ministers were accompanied by their spouses. Now that they have been sworn in, they are expected to receive a blessing from the Ingwenyama. Meanwhile, Minister of Information, Communication and Technology, Savannah Mazia, was not present during the swearing-in as she is reported to be out of the country. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Babane.
Deputy Prime Minister Thuli Dladla says gender-based violence is one of the key issues she is looking to face head-on as she begins a 5-year term. Dladla says this issue was raised during the People's Parliament and continued to be seen affecting Mswati daily. Dladla said this during an interview after being sworn in into office, where other ministers also shared what they plan to do in the next 5 years.
Kakhulu inkosi lekucelile eMaswatini kwekhute indzaba ye-gender based violence. Cabanga ukuthi ngiyoye kucala vele lesitayi prioritizer. Fortunately akhona ama-study la shoko lokuthi nama underlying causes ale gender. So we're not going to reinvent the wheel. Instead sitawuhlala na PS neli bandla leli relevant sukubuke lokho bese ke sibite ama stakeholders sikhona ukuthi sibonisane sithi recap lokuthi yini mbambamba.
Sitawuvele sicale sigijime ngoba sichubeka nemsebenzi lebese sivele siwenda etiko. Lokumcoka ukuthi kunema pipeline projects lamanyenti le bekakhona ku recovery plan ye COVID nama project lamaningi la bekavela khona ku strategic roadmap lesiwasebentako. Lama projects onke atawudala lemisebenzi lebesobe sithembisa sive ukuthi itawuba khona. Ungabekisa nje ukuthi masinyane sidabe sesivula ifactory eGamula lapho khona itawuqasha abantu labangu-1000.
Awu umuntu uyethemba ukuthi utawugijima nalo sekushintshe kudla esitsheni nje. Ngimi lo abefuna impendulo kepha nyalo sethi itawufunwa kimi but ngiyathemba ukuthi ngekubambisana na PS nalo lonke litiko impendulo sitawubuya nato.
Into engihlone kabili wokucala ngile political party yaleli tiko lokuthi ngilendlela yethu yokuphathwa lekufuna ukuthi siqinise kakhulu kuyo la ekutheni siyifundzise eMaswatini ingene eMaswatini uhlala ngishunyelwa njalo lokuthi inhle ngani yini ubuhle bale system yethu ngoba vele emhlabeni sekonakele ukuthi sisindene ekuthula ngoba lobukhosi bena sibe nekuthula behluka lapho nje le system kunama systems bese sephindze futhi kubuya ngalanga ku administration ne service delivery la service delivery nakhona lapho khona inkundla encenye etingakenti kahle khona itolo nakusandi la ekutheni nentuthuko yile kubantu nama service ayile kubantu ngicabanga ukuthi ingwenyama yemhlaba ikube kwacaca lo ukuthi le decentralization sale vele iyale kubantu.
Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini has thanked His Majesty King Mswati III for appointing a Prime Minister whom she says is energetic and a cabinet that is equal to the task at hand. Dlamini has also thanked Ngwenyama for inviting the United Nations Development Programme to attend Sibaya as this organization has the country's best interest at heart. Dlamini said this in Parliament during a farewell function for the outgoing UNDP resident, Representative Rose Sebatindira on Tuesday.
Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini says although the outgoing UNDP resident representative Rose Sebatindira is leaving Eswatini, her work will remain for all to see.
The partnership and cooperation UNDP has had with the Kingdom has grown significantly over the years. UNDP supported projects in the entire government machinery are invaluable and have contributed to the country's success stories with regards to the implementation of SDGs and good governance. Specific to Parliament, through our partnership between 2018 and 2023, a number of initiatives to improve Parliament work processes have been achieved. Some are still ongoing.
Sebatindira says she believes that her departure does not mark the end of UNDP's contribution to Eswatini's development.
That space that was created for us to share the best practices that we have from elsewhere, but also to appreciate Eswatini's unique governance system and how best we can support you in that process. And so that's another space that I strongly believe that, allowed us to share ideas.
During the event, it was said that Sebatindira will be remembered for the recently launched Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program. This program was described as a tool that will help fight youth unemployment. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Smuva Shongwe, Parliament.
Mabana Alliance Church, Reverend Dr. Johannes Mazibugo, during the swearing-in of cabinet ministers, preached that the country would not reach its first world status if it will be a lawlessness state. So the incoming government has to be excellent. Meanwhile, God at Work Bishop Zachariah Mtetra prayed for the cabinet ministers to have wisdom as they start their office work.
Preaching during the ceremony, Reverend Johannes Mazibugo says excellence belongs to God. He adds that Emaswati hopes to see change in attitude on how government conducts business. He adds that excellence is demanded everywhere. On the other hand, Bishop Zachariah Mtetra has prayed for a cabinet that will lead with wisdom.
Siyaqala kubona a different spirit kuma ministries. Siyaqala kubona umehluko mhlambe nemithetho kuyawuhamba hamba ishintshe irevisewe lapha khona lo mnyaka udlula khona ukwathi kumfaka liswati ngendlela lefanele atowuyekela ngoba labanye bathi oh wena ufikile nje 5 years after 5 years uyahamba. No, excellency pleases God and the people.
Wena moya weqiniso moya lengehluleki litiko ngalinye siyathandaza nika indvuna ngayinye uNkulunkulu wezulu umnika inhlakanipho wayinika inkosi yasemva Solomoni waswa amnika inhlakanipho Nkosi bakhona ukuthi alibambe liveleka Israyeli ngehlonipho lelihle walihola bambe iwisdom Nkosi litiko ingqondo tabo imicabango yabo ibe inspired by the power of the Holy Ghost. I pray, Lord, today, that your holy hand may be upon them, one by one, Nkosi. Bangete basanganiswa, tinkulumo deliver, ngegama likaJesu.
Secretary to Cabinet Victor Ngumalo says after the prayer, the ministers were now excellent. He hopes that even the principal secretaries in the different ministries will be excellent. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Vubinkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
The Army Commander Mashiglisana Fagutse says the country has made great strides in preventing fatalities due to HIV and AIDS. Fagutse says in light of these efforts, Eswatini should continue using all prevention measures that have been put in place to avoid HIV new infections. Fagutse was speaking during the World AIDS Day commemoration held in Zombotse.
The commemoration event started with a tour where the Army commander and partners were shown around the services that the military police hospital provides. The Army commander, Mashigilisane Fagutse, says they offer other services such as screening different cancers.
Every community should lead in ending AIDS. We are saying UNDP should lead in ending AIDS. We lead and others follow. It is in this day that we take opportunity to thank our partners, PEPFAR US, DOT in particular, and the URC, the implementing partner, in helping us a lot in fighting with this scourge, which used to be a death sentence. We lost soldiers in the past, but it's a privilege and an honor to announce through this pandemic. It's an honor now to say we are no more dying of HIV and AIDS.
The PEPFAR representative, Dr. Tyrone Lepido, commends the impact of the military police hospital in Eswatini.
The role of the community is to ensure that community participation is felt in what services are required, and importantly, to contribute to the quality of care that is provided. To facilitate that, minutes are kept and there are suggestion boxes available for confidential feedback and suggestions that people might not feel free to openly express.
Pikeleli Dlamini, the Nature's Programs Manager, says that they are encouraged to see EUDF officers taking lead in the fight against HIV and AIDS. Dlamini says they're all open to working with different organizations in the fight against HIV. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangi Nismova Shongwe, Zombotse.
The Minister of Health, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, empowered Eswatini in the Bambara bus rank on the importance of eating a balanced meal, or balanced meals rather, through indigenous meals. Now, the Director for Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says most people received indigenous vegetables, seeds, which is aimed at encouraging Eswatini to grow backyard gardens.
People who were at the Mbabane bus rank had an opportunity to do food testing of indigenous vegetables through the campaign facilitated by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Agriculture. Speaking during the campaign, the Director of Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says the ministry encourages AmaSwati to grow indigenous vegetables and fruits.
Sithi silitiko uma sihlanganisile sihlangene singasida sive sethu siphile emalanga lamanengi lokunengi kwethu kubangwa.
We are here to sensitize the nation on the importance of eating healthy. As a Minister of Agriculture, we are pushing that people should eat indigenous fruits and vegetables. We have seen that most people live unhealthy lifestyle where they don't get to exercise.
Vusi Shabangu, representing the Ministry of Health under the NDC's department, encourages AmaSwati to avoid overcooking food.
Everything that you cook in large quantities, you are bound to dish it in large portion. And anything that you cook in minimum portion, you definitely dish it out in a small portion. So if you cook porridge in large pots, you will have larger portion in your plate, which is unhealthy.
The Ministry of Agriculture launched a Sidle Kwethu campaign, which seeks to encourage AmaSwati to grow vegetables, backyard gardens, which will foster a culture of eating vegetables to avoid non-communicable diseases. Swatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Fortune Dlangamandla, Babane.
The Minister of Health, Emergency Preparedness and Response, EPR, commonly known as 977, is set to conduct a national stimulation exercise on preparedness and response to emergencies of public concern. This is according to EPR National Office Mduduzi Logotfago, who said this is close to a reality. Disaster exercise will be carried out in a secret location to check if a Eswatini response team is ready for any emergencies that may occur.
COVID-19 outbreak in the year 2019 tested the world's ability to respond to emergencies. Most countries in the world struggled to curb the spread of the virus. In preparedness for any pandemic or emergencies that may occur in the future, the Minister of Health, Emergency Preparedness and Response Unit will stage a surprise pandemic to see if the country's emergencies units are ready to respond.
We just want to test the country or the sector capacity to respond to an emergency event. We also want to mobilize resources that may be deemed necessary for the response. When we are testing ourselves, we shall see gaps. If there shall be gaps, then that is going to assist us to mobilize resources as necessary. It is also going to be a media to expose our health professionals to such events. We want our people to be ready on the mind and also in the body to face any form of a health disaster, should it come in any time and in any direction. We also want to give ourselves the opportunity to review our plans. We are currently having response plans in different levels. So we want to test whether we are going to be able to execute those plans should the event comes.
The Minister of Health Promotion Officer Stumol Kele says this exercise will help in the event the predicted El Nino hits the country. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Babane.
Eswatini Diabetes Association founder Dumsile Mavuso says complications in cases of people diagnosed with diabetes can be prevented or delayed through taking the right treatment. Mavuso says AmaSwati are encouraged to adopt a healthy lifestyle, which is essential for reducing the risk of diabetes. Mavuso was speaking in Manzini.
The Kingdom of Eswatini joined the world in commemorating the World Diabetes Day that is celebrated on the 14th of November, which is aimed at providing an opportunity for AmaSwati to learn about diabetes as a global public health issue. The Eswatini Diabetes Association founder Dumsile Mavuso says adhering to the right preventative measures and taking the right treatment can minimize complications.
Balingani bami lesiphila nalabo shukela kuthi kumcoka kuwathatha imithi lefanele ngendlela lefanele ukuze zivikele kungena kuma complications.
When people receive the proper treatment, it reduces the risk of complications.
We encourage Emaswati to make sure that when they feel signs or symptoms of diabetes, they should visit health facilities. There is absolutely no reason to be reluctant or scared about this, whether you are young or old. The best way to take care of yourself is to know exactly what you are dealing with.
The theme for the World Diabetes Day 2023 is access to diabetes care. Globally, around 422 million people have diabetes, and 1.5 million deaths are directly attributed to diabetes every year. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Smova Shongwe, Manzini.
Right, with that, we shift gears now into the world of business, where we take a look at our financial indicators that will give us a sense of how markets fared today in the financial report.
It can be.
Welcome back. We begin our sports roundup with the appointment of Bongani Nzima as the new Minister for Sports for the next 5 years. Different sports bodies in the country have expressed their gratitude to His Majesty King Eswatini III for Nzima's appointment, and they have great expectations that Nzima will improve sports in the country.
We begin our sports roundup with the appointment of the new Sports Minister Bongani Nzima of Sandleni constituency. Top 3 sports bodies being Eswatini Sports and Recreation Council, Eswatini Football Association, and Eswatini Olympic Commonwealth Games Association have all expressed their excitement following the minister's appointment on Monday evening.
Sports fraternity selive leMaswati siyati ukuthi kakhulu i-sports bill nje lesematheni bantu i-sports bill ke sonke vele sikhathe sona ngemehlo labofu siyathemba babenzima utawuphusha aphushe achubeke la kugcine khona babebulunga
laba ye facility njengoba usho indzaba mlonyeni stadium sikhuluma nje kuleli likhethelo liyadlala nelikhethelo laseLibya liyadlalela ngaphandle le kungaba indvo lenhle lokuthi imidlalo lenjengale igcine idlalile lapha ekhaya kude namaswati onke alithole lithuba lokuyobukela likhethelo lelive lidlala sihlangu semnikati njengoba likhethelo leli lisuke limele wona emaswati. Siyethemba lokuthi titaba khona tindlela ekuthenini kugcine kwendekile lokho sigcine sinaso noma sikhona leso stadium leso lesitawugcine sibambile lena midlalo lena sengaba nje kwethemba nje kakhulu ukuthi naye minister sangena ehhovisi naye wonke uhulumende indzaba vele leseyikhulunyiswa cishe live lonke siyethemba lokuthi kutawugcine ibe khona impumelelo sigcine nasi sesikhona kubambela imidlalo lenjena lapha ekhaya.
Sithanda ke kumbongela yena minister lomusha siphindze sijabule ke nalokuthi i-experience lanayo iyakhombisa lokuthi passion yakhe isetindzabeni tebantu abasha ikakhulu kanye nato temidlalo.
And moving on to international news, Spanish tennis star Carlos Alcaraz is out of ATP finals following his defeat against German star Alexander Zverev. British female tennis player, on the other hand, will miss the exhibition in Macau in China next month as she's still nursing a hand injury. And lastly, British football community continue to mourn the death of England and Manchester United legend Sir Bobby Charlton, who died at the age of 86, having lifted the 1966 FIFA World Cup alongside Ballon d'Or the same year and the 1968 European Cup with Manchester United. Sir Bobby Charlton memorial services was held on Monday, but on Tuesday, different supporters and club officials within Manchester United continued to show their support. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabiso Msonera, Mbabane.
With our sports news, we hit the home stretch of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our news-making headlines tonight. Cabinet ministers have been sworn into office. Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini has thanked His Majesty King Eswatini III for appointing a Prime Minister whom she says is energetic and a cabinet that is equal to the task at hand. And Deputy Prime Minister Tulidladle says gender-based violence is one of the key issues she is looking to face head-on as she begins her 5-year term. That's how we reach the conclusion of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the team here at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.
ethe wena waphakathi